Good morning, everybody. Welcome to day 10 of the T-Rex training program. Today is the last day. If you are doing the incentive program after you finish this video, make sure that you put a sticker on day 10. Make sure that you've put the stickers on all the other days onto that card stock. And then you can have a parent help you take a picture of your completed card stock and send it to the email address pool, so P-O-O-L, at cityofsunprairie.com. Once we receive that email, we are going to coordinate with you for you to get your completion prize. So at the end of today, you've earned yourself a water bottle if you're doing that incentive program. All right, so today I am at Stone Ridge Estates Community Park. So it's over by, kind of by the Prairie Athletic Club. Stonehaven Drive, a very common road, is right behind us. This park has quite a few pretty cool attractions. So it's got a really nice play area. It's got two nice play areas with some slides. It's got this giant rock, okay? Many a kid have broken their bones playing on that thing. I know plenty of swimmers who have jumped off and broken their arm or broken a leg. So so be careful if you come here and you play on that rock. It's a fun rock, don't get me wrong. It is very fun to climb up and to jump and all of that, but you do have to be careful because that's a pretty tall rock. All right, so just something to be mindful of. But it is fun to kind of rock climb it and get to the top, but just make sure you safely make yourself down. Also, there is the Sway Fun, so you can fit like 6 people in there. So you and 5 other friends, and you just rock back and forth, and it's kind of like you're in a boat. Okay, so it is a really, really fun thing to do. So highly encourage you to check out this park with some friends or with some family when you have the chance. All right, I'm gonna start the day with another SpongeBob SquarePants joke. Here we go. What do you use to catch electric eels? A lightning rod. Oh, the jokes are terrible, but you gotta respect them. All right, so today our safety topic is know about boating before you go floating. Okay, know about boating before you go floating. All right, so there's a lot of waterways in which boats are able to enter and float around in. Okay, so if you are going with friends or with family floating, okay, so if you're sitting in a tube or maybe you're just wanting to swim in a lake for a day, make sure you know where that boat traffic is going to be, because you do not want to get in the way of a boat as a boat is driving down the water, all right, because the boat is going to win. All right, so oftentimes lakes and bodies of water have areas that are already marked off for swimming. So there might be a beach area, and then there might be some buoys out in the water that designate a swim area. So that means that you are safe because all the boat traffic is going to be outside of that zone. Okay, if you're going to be floating down a river or down a lake, that's awesome. That is a lot of fun. You know, you just sit there with your friends and your family. You got a tube. Usually people bring like coolers with snacks and different drinks. So that is a lot of fun. Just make sure that you know whether or not there's going to be any boat activity going on out in the water. So know about boating before you go floating, okay? Or you might go tubing, okay? Like on the back of a boat where you attach a rope and you're sitting on a tube, and you know, your mom or dad, aunt or uncle or a friend of yours is driving the boat around and you're just tubing along. Once again, a very fun activity. Just make sure you're staying safe and make sure you know about the boat, and make sure you're wearing a life jacket, to just make sure you're taking all of those safety precautions when you're out there on the water. Our skill topic today is starts, okay? Also known as, I called it diving yesterday, but this is a dive specific for the start of a race in swimming, okay? So what are the different ideas about a start? What are some things to think about? And then what are some things that you can practice at home to practice that skill of a start, okay? So like I said, a start is used at the beginning of a race. So typically, you've got the official, so you're waiting behind what is called the block. The block is just a platform that has typically like a square top, and that's what you're going to be jumping from or pushing off from to enter that water, okay? So you're sitting back there, you're waiting for your race. The official is going to blow a whistle, and that tells you that you are ready to step up onto that block, onto that platform, and you are ready to take your mark, okay? So you're standing on the block. There's going to be another official that's got a microphone, okay, that they're talking through what's called the starter. So they're going to say, take your mark. When they say take your mark, you're going to do what is called a track start. So that means 1 foot is going to be forward, 1 foot is going to be back behind. Your feet are still about hip width apart, okay? The foot that goes in front is your dominant leg usually, okay? So typically everybody has one leg that's a little stronger than the other and one that's that you have more balance on, okay? For me, it's my right leg, okay? One way to tell is if you're just standing and somebody comes behind you and pushes you, the leg that you catch yourself with is most likely your dominant foot. So maybe try that sometime. So maybe just stand up and you can have a friend or a sibling say, hey, could you push my back? Not super hard, but just push me forward and find out which leg goes out in front to catch you, to prevent you from falling, okay? So for me, it's my right leg. So my right leg is going to go in front. My left leg is going to be staggered behind, okay? My toes, I'm going to curl them over the edge of that block, okay? Because I want to make sure that I got some grip so that when the race starts, I'm able to push off that block and jump out into the water, okay? So a take your mark position, 1 foot forward, 1 foot back. You're going to bend at your hips. Notice how I'm not bending my knees to get in that take your mark position, okay? I've got a little bend in my knee, and I'll talk about that in a second. So I've got a little bit of a bend, but not a lot, okay? So, and then I'm bending at my waist, bending at the hips, and I'm gonna come down and I'm gonna grab that block with my hands. I'm usually gonna let my fingers go on the side of the block so that when the race starts, I can push off that block and jump out into the water and do that dive, okay? So that's a good take your mark position, keeping your hips high, bending at the waist, getting yourself into that take your mark position. Now, I talked earlier about having a little bit of a bend in your knees, okay? The analogy or the comparison I often use is think about a basketball player doing a jump ball, all right? So at the start of a game, you know, you got the jump ball to determine who has possession of that basketball first, okay? Notice that those players aren't squatted down here, okay? Notice that also that they're not straight-legged, okay? Okay, so let's try this. I want you to try just jumping with your legs completely straight. Ready? Go. I can't get very high, can I? Okay, it's really, really hard to jump with your legs staying completely straight. Now I want you to try jumping when you're squatted down like this. Okay, let's give it a try. Try it one more time. Okay? I could jump high, but it takes me a while to get up high to jump. Okay, notice that it's taking a lot of time for me to go from here all the way up. Okay, so we're getting closer, but we don't want to put that much bend in our knee. So rather, let's pretend like we're a basketball player going for that jump ball. Okay, so I got my knees bent a little bit, and the ball is thrown up in the air, and whoo! Notice how I got about the same height as I did when I was down here, but notice how much faster I was getting to that height. Okay, so same idea as a jump ball in basketball. That's the position you want to have your legs in when you're going to do this start. Okay, because that's going to give you a really good reaction time when the official starts the race. Okay, so reaction time, it's how fast can you move after the starter starts the race. Okay, all right, so they blew the whistle, you're up on the block. The starter, or the official at the starter, says take your mark. So your toes are curled over the edge, you got a little bend in your knees, your dominant foot is in front, that other foot is behind, staying about hip width apart, bending at the waist, grabbing that block with your hands. Your head is gonna stay down, because when that race starts, you're gonna wanna tuck in your chin when you get into that dive, okay? So you're here, then the starter is going to start the race. So they're gonna click a button and you're gonna hear a beep. When you hear that beep, that means you react, you push off that block, you get your hands into a streamline, you get your body nice and straight, and then you dive into the water. So your fingers are gonna enter first. Keep that chin tucked in so that your body can stay straight. So your hands, pretend like these are your fingers, right? So fingers are gonna go in first, then your head, then your hips, then your feet. So you should be nice and straight, entering into that water, and then you're starting your swim, okay? All right, so that's a start. That's all the elements of the start of a race. The only difference, backstroke, you have a different start. Okay, so freestyle, breaststroke, and butterfly, those three competitive strokes, you use that kind of dive off of the block. A backstroke start is a little different. You actually start in the water. The block has a handle that you can grab onto from the water. So you're going to stagger your feet in the water as you would on a block start. You're holding on to the handles. When they say take your mark, you're gonna lift yourself up out of the water a little bit. Try to get your hips out of the water just a little, not all the way, but just a little bit. And then when they start that race, you're gonna throw your head backwards, throw your arms back, and then you're kind of doing like a reverse dive. So you're arching your back, still letting your fingers go in first, and then letting the rest of your body follow along, okay? Woohoo! That was day 10. That was awesome, ladies and gentlemen. So I hope you learned something. I hope you were able to learn about those 4 competitive strokes. We talked about side stroke, elementary backstroke. We talked about a streamline. We talked about the 2 different types of turns, right? That flip turn, then that open turn. Then today we talked about a start, all right? So this is the end of session 1. So like I said at the beginning of the video, if you are part of the incentive program, make sure that you have that entire card stock completed with all of your completion stickers on it. Then have a parent help you take a photo of that card stock, send that photo in an email to pool, P-O-O-L, that @ symbol, cityofsunprairie.com. Once we receive that email, we will communicate with you about how you can pick up your incentive prizes. So thank you for sticking with the program. I hope you enjoyed it. I know I enjoyed making these videos, and I hope that you can join us for session 2, which begins July 22nd. All right, hope to see you next time. Have a great summer. Bye.